Hey friends, it's Hope, and today I am here to give you a non-spoiler book review over Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And as you guys know, I am obsessed with Jennifer L. Armentrout's books, specifically the Luck series, and so I have been wanting to get my hands on like every single one of her books that she's written, and guys, let me tell you, she's written a lot. I have read a couple of her other books in different like trilogies and series, and I have a couple of those reviews that I've done before, so I will go ahead and link that down below. But today we're here to talk about Don't Look Back, this mysterious and suspenseful novel that had me on the edge of my seat pretty much through this whole book. So this book is a YA fiction book, and we follow Samantha. She is in high school and she's been through a traumatic event, wakes up in a hospital, and is trying to figure out what happened to her and what happened to her best friend. Pretty much her memory is completely gone. She doesn't even know her name when she originally wakes up. She's suffering from really bad amnesia. So through this novel, she is trying to fit the pieces back together so she can figure out what happened to her on that night and what happened to her best friend Cassie, who is still currently missing. Through this novel, Sam also realizes what a horrible person she was before her accident, and so now she is trying to redeem herself and become a better person, and I loved that. So while we're talking about Sam's character, let's just talk a little bit more about the other characters in this book. So we'll first go ahead and start off with Samantha, since we are already talking about her. She was such a great, unreliable, and an unstable character. I loved reading about her. What I also really loved about her, she was driven. She was really proactive into figuring out what happened to her and what was going on with her missing best friend. She also had a lot of passion on redemption. She really focused on redeeming herself and kind of patching up those friendships and relationships that she had really burned in the past. And speaking about awful people, let's just talk really briefly about Dell. Dell is her boyfriend. And to just kind of lay it out there in a very simple term, he is a douche canoosh. I mean, I could not stand his character, and every time he was mentioned in the book, I was like, all right, girl, it's time to kick him to the curb. He's got to go. But then we have Scott. Scott is her twin brother, and I feel like if I had a brother, I would want him to be like Scott. Scott was patient, he was protective, he was really funny, he was caring, and deep down, like, you could just tell that he loved her so much. And on top of that, he was just super cool. I loved all the parts that he was in, and I actually wish I saw a little bit more of Scott. But yeah, if I had a brother, I definitely would want a brother like Scott. And then that takes us to Scott's best friend and the boy next door, Carson. Carson was such a refreshing character. In Jennifer L. Armentrout books, usually the main love interest is like this really good looking, cocky son of a gun who is kind of like that bad boy image, and Carson's character was so not that at all. I mean, yes, he was charming, and yes, he was good looking, but he was not cocky. He was so humble, he was smart, he worked really hard for what he has. And on top of that, he was so willing to give people second chances. I found that very endearing, and ladies, he drove a freaking motorcycle. So with that to say, even though he wasn't like a bad boy, Jennifer L. Armentrout figured out a way to like weave in a bad boy like stereotype with him riding a bike, but it was whatever. I loved it. So with all that to say, I really loved the characters. I felt like there was a great balance between the characters being so different. Overall, this read completely hooked me. I felt like the mystery and suspense was really great. I literally had to cover the paragraphs beneath what I was reading because I was so tempted to like quickly glance down below because I was on the edge of my seat. One downside in this book is I felt like it was a little bit predictable. The person who was haunting Sam throughout the novel, I totally guessed like towards the beginning, and for that reason, I decided not to give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I have still been trying to figure out if I wanted to more rate it like a 4 or a 4.5 stars. I'm more leaning towards 4 because I just thought it was a little bit predictable. But with that said, Jennifer L. Armentrout did a great job at giving the reader multiple people to suspect. Like, there wasn't just one person that had some type of qualities that you said, that has to be the person haunting Sam. I will say that this book was really refreshing. I feel like with Jennifer L. Armentrout's previous books that I've read, they all have the same feel. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore everything that I've pretty much read by her. Her writing is just fantastic and is so addicting, like you don't want to put her books down. And it was the same for this. The biggest difference that I found in this novel was the main male character was not like the super cocky and over-the-top guy, and I really appreciated that because Carson was kind of like the boy next door. Like I feel like everybody has a friend or knows a guy that's like Carson. Not everyone knows a guy like Damon Black from her Lux series. So I feel like Carson was just so much more relatable, and I really appreciated that. And like I said, I just found that really refreshing. So all in all, what I'm trying to say, guys, is if you have the opportunity to read this book or any book by Jennifer L. Armentrout, I definitely suggest you doing so. I told my friend Mandy last night that I actually felt like this book felt like a mix between The Unbecoming Amara Dyer and We Were Liars. And the reason why I felt that way is because our main character, Sam, is very unreliable and she's unpredictable and she can't tell what's real and what's fake and what's a hallucination, and she's been through this traumatic event. And she has these redeemable qualities and you find yourself really rooting for her even though she's so unreliable. I kind of had the same feeling when I read both We Were Liars and The Unbecoming Amara Dyer. So if you guys were intrigued by that type of feel with that mystery and suspense kind of added in, I definitely think that you guys would really, really like this book. I ended up reading this book in 2 days because, like I said, I was just hooked and I wanted to know what happened. Well guys, that pretty much does it for my non-spoiler book review over Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know below if you guys have read this book, and let me know if you guys figured it out before it was revealed who was haunting Sam. That pretty much does it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm sure I will see you soon, but until next time, you guys have a great day. Bye.